Hey Bear Nation, welcome back to the homestead. Well, the weather lately has been cruddy. We've had cold weather and we've had wet weather, we've had snow, we've had ice, and so we haven't really been able to do much outside. So behind the scenes, inside, I have started seed starting. And I know what you're thinking, oh Robin, it's too early, you're not supposed to be starting seeds for peppers and eggplants and tomatoes. No, that is not what I started. I started English pea plants from our local feed and seed. And so now it's been about a week, and because of the situation of where they're at in the seed room, it's warm enough that they have taken off. And I'm not quite ready to put them outside because of that previously mentioned crappy weather. So we're going to up pot those plants today and take advantage of being able to work inside with the nice wood burning stove and, you know, not being out in the rain. So the first thing that I want to do is I got some potting soil, but from last year, I realized that putting in some coco coir in that actually, one, it helps spread out the seed starting mix so that you can, or the potting soil mix, so that you get more bang for your buck, but it also allows more moisture control. So I'm going, and that's really important where we are because it's nice and warm in that seed room, and so that water evaporates really quickly. If you don't have something like the coco coir in there. So the very first thing I need to do is, I've got this coco coir block and it says that I need 4.5 cups of water. So there's 4. I'll pour that in there. And then half a cup. Alright, and according to the label, it says that that'll take about 2.5 minutes to expand. Okay, so I read the directions wrong. It was actually 4.5 quarts, not 4.5 cups. So I've added the additional water and we're just waiting for it all to get soaked up in this brick. I knew 4.5 cups wasn't right, but Ladessa messed me up. She only brought me 1 2-liter, and so I was like, oh, maybe it's 4.5 cups. Silly, silly, silly. Okay, so the coco coir is now not a block. It's now not solid. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the coco coir and mix it into the potting soil that I got. Okay, so the reason that I do add the coco coir to the potting soil mix is because, I don't know if you've looked at potting soil mix lately, but it's got a lot of these like sticks and pieces of like, it's just not broken down really well. There's a lot of stuff in there. See, like there's a big, huge like wood chip in there. And so what I've done is I'm adding more coco coir into this mix so that it will help keep the moisture once we water, you know, so that I won't have to water as frequently. Because with them sitting in these up pots, I don't want them to get root bound or root rot or anything like that. So I'm just gonna mix that all in there real good, and then we're gonna start up planting some of these peas. Okay, so the next step after we've mixed some of this coco coir, I wanted to show you what the what I consider something that needs to be up potted. Now, if you look right here in these trays, you're gonna see, like, obviously this guy is super tall, and I did my best to prevent that from happening by keeping the grow light really close to the surface, But they've grown really quickly, again, because I think it's so warm in that seed room. But when it's time to plant these is when you have 3 sets of leaves. And so like on this one, there's 1, 2, there's 3 sets. 1, 2, 3 sets. So a lot of these are ready to plant. So what I'm going to do is get the ones that are ready, go ahead and pull them out and get everything back into the seed room so that they can continue to grow. And then maybe in a couple weeks, we'll be able to put them outside. Now, I'm going to say something about these trays. These are the garden trays from Vego Garden. I really like them, and I also have a about them. Because of how you have like 76 cells in these trays, okay? And that's nice. However, the cells are not very big, okay? These seed starting trays, they're meant for you to start them and then up plant them. So in that aspect, if you know you're going to be up potting, it makes sense to use these because you can make, 76 plants at one time. And one of the things that I really like about these Vego trays is my system came with this tray right here. And I don't know if you can see, but they're these individual little spikes. And what you do is you place that down and then you take your tray and you put it down over top of it. And what it does is it pushes each one of those cells up to where it makes it easier for you to grab the plant out intact. And then it's easier for you to up pot. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on these. I've got some old recycled cups that from years past plants. I go ahead and save those as best I can. So we'll just take the plant. I'm going to bust up those roots just a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and put that guy down in there and encourage those roots to continue to grow nice and strong. Another thing that I did, I had seen Jess do this. She said that, when you plant stuff outside, there's naturally wind that happens. Just even if it's just a small breeze. But when you're in something like a greenhouse or a seed room or something like that, you don't necessarily have air flowing. And that air actually helps your plants grow stronger roots. So when I go past my plants, what I've been doing is I take my hand and I just run them over the plants. And what that does is it encourages the plants to grow stronger roots. So that's another thing that you can do when you're seed starting, is to run your fingers across them, your hands across them, to encourage those roots to be strong. Okay, so I've already done 10, and this is going to be a really long process because I have 3 more trays just like this. I know that sounds a little crazy because I think if you do the math, if all of them came up, it would be like 300 plants. But I figure if I do this now, 1, we should be able to can some peas this spring. 2, I'll scratch the itch of wanting to plant in January, which everybody goes through. And 3, I get a chance to show you guys what we're doing and how we're doing it. Thank you for stopping by the Big Bear Homestead. God bless and have a nice day.